So, in a unsurprising chain of events, I've made more financial decisions, which I didn't think they were so bad. Let's pan over. No, not the Dodge, not the F700. This is a Subaru Loyale that I picked up from a friend of mine for, in my opinion, a pretty reasonable price. I didn't want it to, potentially get parted out or go to the junkyard, so I figured I could use another winter beater, since the plan is for that to get repaired over the winter, and that won't be here during winter. So, let's check this thing out. Uh-oh. Probably have B crawl across the seat to get the door open. There's the door panel. It ain't there. It's back here, along with a bunch of other spare parts that I've got with this thing that I have to get running. Weather's cooling down a bit. And hopefully before the first snow, this thing will be a running and driving example of what it once was. So you can tell that a little bit of a racing livery on it. And why in the fuck are you turning around in my driveway? There's a cul-de-sac. You mook. Anyway, it was registered in the SCCA. I think I've got pictures somewhere, or the previous owner has pictures somewhere of what this thing looked like with the full colors and stuff on it. It's got a GoPro mount and all kinds of other stuff. That's a big ass fly right there. Excuse me, missed it. But yeah, so these are, this one in particular anyway, is a selectable four-wheel drive with high and low range gearbox. This thing should be a ton of fun in the winter. But the big thing is, gotta get it running first. So let's get into that. In all seriousness, the door handle is about as disconnected as most of Congress is from reality. This thing's got the whole, Mitch McConnell thing going on where it appears to work. Luckily, I had somebody that was a little bit smaller crawl through the seats in order to get the door open. All right, so interior door panel completely deleted for speed. Some of the seat foam deleted for speed. The radio and whatever that little knobby thing was were deleted for speed. It's got Brimb, which I'm assuming means it has almost good brakes. Pro Drive sticker, so you know that it's just rally ready already. And it's got a Subaru badge on the inside that should have been on the outside. Oh, I'm sure that's not a sign of things to come. So it did come with a fair amount of spare parts. As you can see in the back, there's a ton of parts. Now, typically you want to check the trunk to see if there's any extra parts to give you an idea of what needs to be worked on, and at what point whoever owned the car previously stopped working on it. The first things first, we got to see if we can get this thing to run. So let's work on that first. So let's get under the hood of this thing and see what we're working with. Where's the rest of you? That's a Super. This is probably the smallest engine I've worked on this channel. This right here, it's opposed 4-cylinder. So instead of the cylinders coming out in a V or in a line, either this away or this away, they're horizontally opposed left to right. This will be the first car like that on the channel because we haven't gotten a Volkswagen, an early Volkswagen yet. Eventually that'll happen. All right, well, let's start digging into it. Where do you go? Right there. Okay. So since this isn't carbureted, we can't really start off how I typically would. And I don't know that much about the Is it the EA82? Is that what this engine would be? I don't know. Did notice something. This thing's got air conditioning. It's got the magnetic clutch right there. Probably doesn't hold any pressure, but we might have to try that if the thing starts. Ordinarily, I'd go through and I'd check spark plugs and all that stuff, but underneath of this spaghetti mess, oh, I'm sorry, that would be incorrect. I guess udon mess, this ramen disaster. I guess we're just gonna see if it'll turn over. There's a lot of room in this engine bay, though. Like your engine ends like right around here.
Is that for a spare fucking tire?
Yeah, that's where your spare tire goes.
It goes in the engine?
Yeah, your spare tire goes in the engine bay like it does on Fiats and a couple other cars. Yeah. The engine's just so small that there's extra room. So why use up, why cut an extra hole in the floor that'll eventually rust out and drop, your jack, spare tire, and small dog on the freeway when you can just have it in the engine compartment, and then if it catches on fire, it's going to really catch on fire because that's a lot of rubber, and rubber burns real fucking good. It's kind of cool to look in the engine compartment of this thing and see like the engine oil cap still got Japanese writing on it. That's pretty neat. This is the second Japanese car that we've had on the channel. The first is the Datsun, which is still waiting to be finished. Yeah, it's waiting on probably the big red truck to get moved, and then I've got to put the engine and transmission together correctly, not just good enough for transport, and then we'll be good. All right, well, I guess, yeah, I think we'll just try to see if it turns over, and we'll work our way back to the fuel system and stuff then. I don't usually work with fuel injection, but from what I understand, these can be converted over to a Weber carburetor, and it helps a little with performance. So we might go that route. We'll see. So now we got Donkey set up to charge this thing's battery a little bit. Kind of doing a little bit of a fire test. I don't smell anything burning or anything like that. If I read right, the previous owner, I haven't talked to him too, I don't think that he put more than 500 miles on this car. Probably less than that. I think it's actually closer to 100. He very rarely drove it. Sorry, I stroked out for a minute there. What's going on?
I said we have an audience. We have a cricket.
Oh boy. All right. Well, nothing's on fire yet, so let's see if it'll start. All right. Well, clutch feels good. It's out of gear. I assume there's no gear shift, so I can't. There's no knob. The knob is just gone. All right. Let's see if she starts. It tried. We'll give it another minute. The door chime works. I don't know if they'll be able to hear it or not, but it works. It sounds like a kid just pounding two keys on one of the little Tykes pianos from the 80s. Just, Mother, I would like hot dogs.
It's slow-speeded Bongo Cat.
Pretty much. Yeah, I wasn't paying much attention when I got in before, but this thing does have air conditioning. It's got the... Oh, it's got buttons.
This one's a button.
Ask my parents. Nothing I like better than pushing buttons. What is this? Wait a minute. Is this right? Yeah, that's right. Aw.
Right. Turn it on.
That started really easy. Uh-oh. We might have to... Hang on, show them. Well, this thing's That goes really good. That's impressive. It is a little loud. It says it's in low gear. Now it's in front wheel drive. Oh, shoot. So look at the little car there, right? Now it's in 4-wheel drive. Now it's in 4 low. Well, this thing is pretty fucking sweet. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this thing to move under its own power. It feels like the clutch might be a little bit weak. All right, so it moves under its own power. Let's see if we can make it down to the end of the cul-de-sac without getting stranded. It goes without much in the way of problem at that. The steering wheel feels really tiny compared to the one in the truck. Duke's a hazard. Oh shit. Rough day. So I'm thinking that our next course of action, at least the next best one, is going to be to dig through the bins and everything else in the back and see what parts that we have. Because we're missing a radio, an interior door panel, and just various other odds and ends stuff. And what I was told is that there's an absolute mess of parts in there, and we don't even have them all. He's still got a couple of totes of parts from what he told me. And then we got to put plates on this thing because I have the title. I got a title. I'm not driving around with that one right now, but I don't have plates. So we got to fix that. And then we got to take this thing and give it a good wash. Kind of get rid of some of the fouling, but try to keep as much of the ghosted decals as we can. Just clean it up a little bit, you know, make it look nice. And then we got to figure out what we're going to do with it, because we're most likely going to keep it all winter. I'm kind of thinking maybe doing some rallycross. I think that'd be fun. We'll see. I was told that the truck and that truck are too big for that. Okay. That seems an awful lot like a skill issue to me, but whatever. So, let's get to tearing into some of this stuff. So it's now a couple days after we were supposed to move all that stuff, and to be honest, I completely forgot what I was doing, and then work changed my schedule, and that's what I get for having a real job. Darn. Anyway, so we're gonna pull some of this stuff out, see what we have, because I really don't know what all we have inside of this car, but there is a lot. So we're gonna set you guys up on a tripod and probably speed this part up a little bit. Gotta figure out where I'm gonna put the tripod, but we'll get to that.